What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Report. Today we're here to talk about Goblin Slayer episode 12, the finale, and it looks like we will get a season 2 of Goblin Slayer. So for me, that's good news because at the end of the episode, it said that Goblin Slayer will return. It's just a matter of how soon that's actually going to happen. This puts us in an interesting position because it depends on what source they decide to use is going to determine how quick this series comes back. I mean, I estimate about 2 years, but you know, the light novel has way more material versus the manga. The anime is effectively caught up with the manga with the last 2 arcs that we have, so it's not too much to go there if they're going off of the manga. But if they went off the light novel, I think there's some legs there. This is good too. I mean, it gives it time to breathe. I estimate about 2 years before we see this season again, just like Overlord or, you know, like Mob Psycho 100. Gives it time to get some content under his belt if they are doing the manga, and to give everybody a little bit of a breather because this has been a very controversial series all the way from episode 1, and it kind of never recovered from that. At the point that we are now at the finale, it was like you either just brushed it off and kept watching, or you just continued to whine about it and you didn't watch it at all. But on to the finale, you know, they did switch arcs with this one, like the arc that we got with going against the Goblin Lord. That was actually saved for last, and I think that was a very good idea because by doing this, we got to end the series on more of an epic note versus what we got, you know, with the Sword Maiden and then the sewer that we had with the last string of episodes before this one. And it also had a chance to have us leave the series on, you know, a better note for Goblin Slayer. I mean, we would have got it anyway, but I think it was more refreshing to show that even though he's a loner, he still won the hearts of the villagers. I mean, if you go back to last episode, with him actually coming out of his comfort zone and asking people for help, you know, Lancer, who's always a bro in any type of medium. The village took the fight to the Goblin Lord, and that was pretty interesting as well. And he had a pretty interesting story on his own too. That's a key word in this one because if you remember, Slayer always said that goblins, even when they're children, and this is why he slays them when they're kids, they will learn, they will grow, they will adapt, and they will come back for revenge, and they will have that hatred on their heart forever. And that's what we saw in a glimpse with the Goblin Lord. You know, he was spared when he was a child, and then just immediately he started extracting his revenge. He grew more evil and greedy, but he also got more formidable as he went on because he was a master of experience as well, or just learning. And we got to see that firsthand with the little glimpse of the backstory that we got for the Goblin Lord. I mean, they're really just dancing over big details like this so they could expand upon to make things better. It's a little bit maddening, but at the same time, it's good that we saw this too. But nonetheless, the Goblin Lord was up against the Punisher of goblins, and you know, Goblin Slayer left no stone unturned by starting off by, you know, destroying his home. He was like, yeah, I already know you tried to do an escape plan. It ain't there, bro. We gotta throw these hands, so let's get to it. However, I was a little bit more interested in the fight with the adventurers versus the goblins because let's be honest, we see Goblin Slayer do his thing the entire series. To see other people actually out there fighting these goblins was nothing but a good thing. And you know, it was fun to see because they are more on the professional side of things, so they fight more formidable and bigger things than these goblins. But one thing that was good is that they began to take the goblins a little bit more seriously now, seeing how well orchestrated it was and how well planned they had this attack. And you know, also, you know, with Goblin Slayer, people actually coming around to him and saying, you know, this guy does this for a reason. So it was good to actually see them out there. Side note, I would love to see a side mission or like maybe even a series or something with the Lancer, the Swordsman, the Paladin, the Mage, and oh my god, that Amazon. It would be awesome to see them because even though we didn't get that much screen time with them, I liked how they looked. They had a nice little flair about them. It'll be good to maybe get a side adventure about them one day. Of course, that's wishful thinking, but playing the game of this all goes to the priestess because if she wasn't there with that protection spell, Goblin Slayer would have been out of there. Even if it was his plan, that was a very big move, and that was the biggest part of him winning this battle, which the fight with Goblin Slayer and the Goblin, you know, Lord, I won't say it was underwhelming. It's just I wish they would have spotlighted on that more, and that leads to me saying this is why I wanted to see more of, you know, like the Lancer and everybody and them fight a little bit more because it was more interesting with them versus Goblin Slayer. We know he's going to give his all, he's going to fight back, and it seems he's following the same format of whenever he's down and out, somebody's going to resurrect him and pick him back up. So it's not exactly a bad thing. It just would have been more of a breath of a fresh air if we would have got just a little bit more spotlight than even that we got on the rest of the characters. And it ended all. It seems like the people themselves had a pretty good effect on Goblin Slayer as well. As when it was all said and done, he sat back, took a deep breath and he looked in the sky and said, you know what? Maybe I do want to be an adventurer. You know, the dream that he had as a kid before all this tragedy happened to him with his sister and the goblins and everything might just come true. He might just get that true adventure, starting with everybody actually seeing his face. Everybody was so excited to see what Goblin Slayer looks like. It was cool to see people like, oh my God, he's so handsome. He doesn't look like how I thought he did. Of course, we didn't get to see his face. They're always gonna leave us with the under, you know, his mouth or whatever, but to see everybody kind of be intrigued by Goblin Slayer and genuinely be interested in him and be happy for him that he's opening it up, that he's showing his face. You know, maybe the elf can take him on that adventure that he's always promised. It really did end on a good note. That's why I'm glad that they decided to use this arc for the end versus what we got last time with the Sword Maiden and the sewer incident, because that was just a really feel-good way to end the series, even if it doesn't come back. Overall, I give Goblin Slayer, I would say an 8 out of 10. Yeah, that's a pretty good thing to give it, at least me. I personally enjoyed it a lot. I know people hate on it, I know people don't like it, and you know, people have their reasons. Everybody is not gonna like everything. That's why we're all different, but it was something that was needed as far as the fantasy genre. This was a straight up fantasy that's not an isekai. I mean, it is technically, but because you know you have the gods and the rolling of the dice and all that, but it dropped us into the fantasy world that we're not getting as often as we should be getting, or as often as we used to get it back in like the 90s with that type of anime, you know, things like Lodo's War. You know, we had Grand Crest recently, we had Grand Blue Fantasy. They were great. I mean, I still have to finish both of those. I didn't get a chance to actually go through those, but they were pretty entertaining. But Goblin Slayer brought us a dark fantasy that I've said over and over again right now is being just pretty much manhandled by Berserk to the point where people feel that's the only thing that could be out there. We're gonna get Vinland Saga, which I guess you can classify that as fantasy as well, even though it's gonna be about Vikings. So we got that whenever it's coming in 2019. But for now, I think Goblin Slayer is an interesting and entertaining series to watch. I think it's definitely worth your time. If you're not squeamish and you can get past that first episode that seemed to be the be-all the end-all, but once you get past that and unwrap it and see the dark fantasy adventure that it had inside, I think it's a little bit something in there for everyone. So some things are still left unanswered. Like, I do want to know more about the gods and the rolling the dice and things like that. So now that we know that we're getting more content at some point, maybe we'll actually find out in season 2, or maybe we can all venture off into the manga or the light novel and see if that ever came into fruition, if anything came of that. But guys, again, final score for Goblin Slayer will be an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it every week. Week after week after week, I look forward to watching it. I won't say it's one of my favorite of 2018, but it's definitely a solid series. Let me know what you guys thought of the series in the comments below. What did you grade it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Would you watch it again? I'll catch you guys later. So as always, if you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. If you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as there's not a shortage of content for you guys to indulge on this channel. And also check out my what I'm watching for 2019, because I still have no idea what I'm going to review, but you guys will get something in some sort. Also check out the changes that's coming for the channel. If you want to help your boy out, you know, hit the Patreon, buy me a coffee, whatever. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now. You chose to listen to me, and I really appreciate that, so thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.